We're talking with Noel Richards on the subject of intimacy, and we were talking about that great scripture in the Bible in John 4 about Jesus with the woman at the well. And Jesus said an amazing thing to her. He said, I'm desperate for people that will worship me, not me, that is Jesus, in spirit and truth. And what does that really mean? That means basically that God is looking for people that are going to be a breath of fresh air on the earth. That worship isn't just something we do on a Sunday. It's related to the way we think. It's related to the way we look after our bodies and we relate rationally and emotionally on the earth. And worship is a lifestyle. It encompasses so many things in our life. And we want to talk about that with Noel and look at the aspect of intimacy is not just something that's quiet and something that's peaceful and something that's gentle. It's also sometimes something that's strong. Something that is aggressive even, in a good sense. Something that is very, very passionate, very, very vehement. So, Noel, we want to talk about that song at Wembley that we did, He Is Risen.
Right.
Which is a very powerful song. It was the real climax at that stadium event. Tell us a little bit about that and the way that came about when you wrote it.
Yeah, I guess the idea for the song came because I wanted to write about the central theme of Christianity. And somebody once said that the central theme of Christianity is not the cross, it's the resurrection. Because thousands and thousands of people were crucified, but only one ever came back to life. Yeah. And it's the power of the resurrection which gives us as Christians tremendous hope. And so I thought, we need to write a song about the power of the cross, the power of the resurrection. And eventually it came out as He Is Risen, and focusing not so much on what Jesus did at the cross, but what He did in His resurrection and the hope He has given us. So it's putting that truth within a song that the church can take away. They get enthusiastic about what they believe in, and they understand one of the central pillars of their faith. And so that's why the song came. And with a song like He Is Risen, it's a song of victory. You don't do it quiet. Yeah. It needs to be loud. And this is how the song turned out.
There's a great scripture in the Bible, and you know this one, Chris. Play skillfully and with a loud noise.
I like that one.
I like that one.
Yeah.
So it's possible for Christians to express almost uninhibited joy and for it to be worship?
Oh, absolutely. And in fact, you know, everything that goes along with that, dancing, celebrating, partying.
So much of religion seems to be sober and death-like. And,
yeah.
I often think that maybe that's the reason they put so many churches in cemeteries. So there's not a big culture shock when you go through from one to the other.
Sure.
But true Christianity reflects a living Saviour, is that what you're saying?
Oh, absolutely. And when you know you've got this tremendous hope, then as somebody was asked once, why do you dance in meetings? And he said, because I can't fly. And when you go to some of these African nations and see them at praise and celebration, they're totally uninhibited. And they'll sing the same song for maybe 20, 30 minutes. Yes. And I think we've got a lot to learn about praise and worship. Let's get out of the straight.
So maybe instead, when we're leading worship, we don't say to the people, now let's all stand up. We probably should say, come on, get on down.
Yeah, or whatever is the vernacular at the time.
Or whatever it is, yes.
Yeah, I remember one time when I was ministering in America, and we went to an Afro-American church in Atlanta, Georgia. You know, it's a classic kind of Blues Brothers church, you know, hey Tim, you know, with the big glasses, you know, and they said, come on brother, we're going to worship. And I thought, yeah, you know, I was used to kind of like a 15-minute, 20-minute worship time. 2.5 hours later, I was exhausted. I thought,
party time.
Is the service over? He said, no, come on, brother, we're going to preach now, you know.
Yeah,
Party
well,
time.
just let me show you something. Tim, watch this. You see, in the West, this is how we worship. You see, if we get excited, we'll just rock up and down. You got my feet there, Tim, you see. Yeah. We just do that. That's how we do it in England.
two-step.
You see, or if we get really excited, we bounce up and down like that. But actually, we should be totally liberated and jumping around all over the place, you know, and sort of, yay, can't keep me down, you know, I've got tangled up in my lead. But there you go. That's what praise and worship is all about. It's having fun, it's celebrating, it's partying, it's being exuberant, and making a loud noise.
Let's see that. Tim, we're going to go to Wembley Stadium, and we're going to see Noel singing this great song, He Is Risen. And I tell you what, the place was jumping, the place was resounding with the praises of God. And it's because God's people love Him in their powerful intimacy of their relationship with Jesus Christ. He has risen, Wembley Stadium.